We are now nearing the end of 2019. And I have a huge gap in recordings. Oh, I guess not that big, but I don't really do anything last couple months of the year. And then January 1, 2020, I start writing Open Hands, which is a song I felt really uncomfortable about because it sounded like a worship song. Which I grew up singing worship songs, and I do love them for what they were, which is a lot of them taught me the power of melody, and I did cling to some of them because I think they're really really well made. But I started writing this one and it just felt really cheesy, and then I just kind of couldn't give it up. But this is about I had an anxiety when I was a kid that I didn't really reflect on until when I started writing the song, where I almost died when I was 2 because I had heart surgery. I had a defect with my heart. And so I think I was very aware of death being a possibility from the time I was very young, because I got a lot of like last looks kind of things before I went into surgery, like had moments with my parents where it was like, this might be the last time that we have you. And then I made it through, and it's great, and I lived and survived. But ever since, I always, with the people that I really love, I was always scared that the second that they left, something was going to happen and I was going to lose them. So I used to like hug my parents multiple times when they'd leave the house to go to work, because I was like, if they get in a car wreck, like I want to make sure that I have like a couple more hugs in the bag before that happens. And that was like a constant narrative for me when people were leaving, and it still is as an adult. Like I'll hug people multiple times because I'm goodbyes are hard for me. Like saying goodbye is like if you know me and you've experienced a long Julianna goodbye, it's because I have this thing in my head that like, you know, it's got to be a good one every time. So I started writing that about that thing in me and kind of trying to reconcile that the people you love are not going to be able to stick around forever. And like, that's okay. And that's part of loving them. So I still have conflicting feelings about this song, I think. I think it feels so on the nose. I think the verses are what saves it for me as a songwriter. Like it lifts it out of its like anthem-y thing enough that I think I can own it. But I guess I was feeling inspired on New Year's Day. Oh! I got this guitar from an estate sale. This fucker sold me this guitar as a classical guitar, and it was as a
12-string classical.
Yes, it was like this crazy. It was a beautiful guitar, but it was like this really rare 12-string classical guitar, which doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's so rare.
It doesn't exist, and so I bought it for like $100, which I didn't have. I don't have that money ever on hand, really. And it's a fucking, it's a Bejo Quinto. That's what it's called. And which is a guitar with a completely different tuning that like, and it won't hold typical nylon strings. It basically became this like useless instrument that I didn't know how to play, and I felt like it was cultural appropriation if I tried to do it and just like have a Bejo around. Like, I don't know how to play one. Anyways, this is the only song that came out of it, and then I got rid of that thing. I chucked it. I chucked it. Yeah, and that's the guitar that's in the International Man of Mystery live session that I recorded at Mount Helix early during a sunrise. It was so beautiful, but yeah, it didn't work. Anyways, sorry, that brought it back. Listening to the voice note, I remember it's that guitar. like so church. I do remember having a lot of fun in my room playing this. It was very comforting. And then I found the chorus. And then I have this great recording from, I was home. I used to do weddings with my friend Becka, who had a DJ company, and then I would assist her on those DJ gigs. And we ended up playing it. I was working on the song at the time, and we played it, and she was on, like, hand drums. And, let's see. There's a rain stick. We were at her parents' house. This is like 4 days after I'd started writing it. The rain stick. We just have to wait until the little hand drums come in. So tasty. Oh. I just feel so like, who am I in this song? I don't really know. Anyways, this is like 3 months before the world ends. Crazy. I think playing this out in the living room is what made me feel like I wanted to make this song work for a record. It felt so good. I'm still trusting that it'll feel good. I'm nervous about this one coming out. I did play it once during a live stream once the pandemic hit, and it was in the middle of all the BLM protests. It was really heavy, and I kind of sang it as like it was kind of like a prayer during that time for each other, and we're all scared that we're all gonna die, and it's just like a whole really heavy. It felt really balmy during that time. So I think it's an important one to have given time to, and have like nailed down in a recording. I think it'll mean something to some people, be helpful. Yeah, that's open hands. Oh, there's also the third verse in the song. So it starts with like me, and how during that time my girlfriend would like wake up in the middle of the night and like be like kind of panicked, and would kind of like try and find me in our bed. And I didn't really know what was going on, but I think it was bad dreams that I was like missing or something. I don't really know. And then second verse is about me being, me hugging you a bunch of times, whoever you are, to like make sure you weren't gonna die. And then the third one is about how I've always been, I grew up in the church, and my dad's a pastor, and he has been for 30 years. A really sweet church, really sweet people. But I was always I was terrified of eternity. I thought it was the worst idea of all time. And any time people would talk about it in like a joyful way of like heaven, and like one day we won't have to worry about this, we'll just be in heaven, I like completely panicked, anxiety shut down, like had to close my ears, like hated it. Because it just is such an insane concept. So it's like, I even reckoned with that in the song, where I was trying to be like, heaven doesn't comfort me, eternity freaks me out, I just like want you to be here forever. It's like, but I can't have either. I don't know. Just the weird mix between I don't want forever to exist, and also I don't want things to end. And like, where does that leave me? writing this to try and sort it out. Anyways, that's Open Hands. I don't remember how it came together.
We started on the acoustic. Remember that acoustic you had?
Oh.
Or it is an
Yeah,
acoustic.
I brought it in, and then I brought in Collins.
I did it on this. Or was
no,
it
no,
that? It was
because
Collins.
we only had it for a day because I remember I wanted to lengthen apart, and then we didn't have his instrument anymore, but we loved the way it sounded so much that
That's right.
yeah, we ended up having to do some movie magic with it.
Let's have a look. So the first version.
I think that's on this guitar, and then I brought in it should change over to a nylon string.
Right. Second version.
There it is.
Ah, I see. So we started
Yeah.
there. Different day went to the next
Yeah.
which is
The other one we used.
that's the song.
Sometimes you wakes up in the middle of the night.
Oh, and I sang it live. I remember I wanted to do
Gasping and crying.
the opening part
Yeah,
all
what-
one take.
through
I say,
the
baby,
chorus,
are
after the
you
chorus.
alright? I'm right here. Right here. You're only dreaming.
I remember this is the day that
If I hug you 2 or 3 times.
RBG died.
Yeah, that's right.
I cried in the
Yeah.
vocal
Cause
booth.
I'm afraid you're gonna die.
Hard day. Weird day.
Yeah.
And if this
I
is
stayed late and you made me spaghetti.
the last time,
And I just stayed in here trying to figure
I'm gonna hold
the parts
you,
out.
and I'm gonna hold you tight.
You're like, you can stay as long as you want. Would you like some spaghetti?
That's right. That's right.
So I was just in here like eating a giant bowl of spaghetti, like playing electric guitar.
And we can
Just exhausted.
promise to be
I remember being very tired on this one.
forever.
Yeah, and then
But it was
with
nice.
RGB dying, I
Yeah.
remember that being quite a waste.
RBG.
Yeah.
With Ruth Gator in Binsburg.
Yeah.
Oh, we had the little...
Is that Austin's bell?
Yeah! We use a lot of his children's toys in this record.
I don't find peace in eternity.
And layered toms there.
It's hard to
Whereas the
This was the...
along with the
This is all,
main
my
drums.
whole, like, yeah. Groovy.
guaranteed. And we
I still feel like the song is a bit indulgent.
promise
In what way?
Just like the, like,
forever.
I don't know. It didn't feel like, I feel like this is exactly how it should be. But it makes me feel a little nervous. Big swell. That. It was pretty fun, hey? You gave me a lot of confidence about the song.
I loved it. As soon as
Yeah.
you started playing that. Because is it open tuning or something? Is it something?
Nah, it's just like the way that the chords are. A lot of like ringing strings. This is when I get. This is the spaghetti bit. This is what I was figuring out doing spaghetti. This little.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember trying that guitar bit. The like. Sick vocals. Do you remember? Hold on, play the BBs there from the. Because I wanted to do. That's another thing I wanted to do live. So I was doing these stacks of vocals, and I was going. But I had to like, they're all in unison, and then I had to go into like a bunch of harmonies.
Right.
And so I had to like, but I wanted to do it live or else it would have sounded weird. I'm just proud of it. I'd like to hear it back. Sick. That was a lot of effort on my part. And we just like drift off into bliss.
The moment of that unison into the harmony.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
One more time. I'm so good. And then can you give me a little solo in the... Oh, nice. This is the Jackson 5 thing. Little Motown magic.
Right.
It's so funny what ends up being an influence.
Right.
You never really... and then you're like,
And how it...
let's try it, yeah.
How it comes out as the influence.
Yeah. Can you solo the... when the electric guitars come in with the like...
Oh, yeah. Yep. This stuff.
On the... yeah. Yeah. It was really fun trying to problem solve how to give that energy there without
Overdoing it.
Yeah.
This is your spaghetti.
Yeah, this is my spaghetti. That sweet sauce. So nice. And then we have the nice little oh yeah, and everything just kind of chills out. This is me like post-cry tape.
Right, yeah.
Ended up being the one. Feel a lot of emotion in that one. Maybe that's why I feel so strange about it. I think it's a very vulnerable. The song feels very vulnerable because there's so much space. I feel very naked in it.
Mm-hmm.
And like the vocal is very forward and there's a lot of live elements and it's just very like I think I shield myself in a lot of like tricks
Stuff, right.
And then in this one I think it just feels very song-y, which is funny that scares me because it's my job, but like songs that feel very song-y.
Because is that because it's later on in the process? Do you think you're more comfortable doing that?
Maybe. Like later on into tracking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I started developing space, but I think it's also... Yeah, I think it's also that they're filling parts of the record that weren't... Like what you had said about Ryder, how it like gave something to the record that it didn't have yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was more interested in like exploring what else there was. So I'm sure I started in my most comfortable space, which was like very layered, very thought out, like lots of things playing off of one another. And then this one, everything's just kind of like shooting down the same tunnel. And I keep people in that tunnel for like a while. And I think I get nervous that people are going to get bored or something. I think I'm very like, I'm very aware of attention span when I'm writing. My own in particular.
Right.
But I don't, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to see because there's these little moments and they might only be one bar or less, and you'll spend quite a while like figuring out the right part, which might be a really simple part.
Yeah.
And then when it comes together, like those guitar parts.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like,
yeah.
It was always there. It was meant to be there.
Yeah, definitely a process of digging through the mud on all of them. Little guy.
It's worth the dig.
Yeah, I think so.